Now, notice that the order of double flats, B, E, is beginning to follow a familiar pattern, battle ends. This gives us some predictability really, and we can begin to see where this is headed. So let's work through the next results a bit quicker. Rather than using the whole stave, I'm just going to work with letter names. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. Take the E flat. So starting with E double flat, put the rest of the letter names in. F, G, A, B, C, D, E. But again, we're going to leave that without its flats for now. We put them in on that one to remind us that we're in E double flat, not E flat or E natural. But for now we leave those off so that they appear there as we go through the mnemonic. I'll show you how this goes. So we're going to go battle, ends, so that's already got one of its flats, and we've come to note 4, but we haven't yet got enough flats on that note to agree with that one, so we have to keep going. Battle, ends, and down goes Charles' father. We've come to the end of the mnemonic, but we're still not back to note 4, so we keep going. Battle, ends, and down goes Charles' father. Battle, we add an extra B. Ends, we add an extra flat there. And now we've come to note 4, so that's where we stop. So the key of E double flat major has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 flats. Now let's check our intervals between each note. So E double flat to F flat, that's a tone. F flat to G flat is a tone. G flat to A double flat. Remember, A double flat sounds the same as G, so it's like saying G to G flat, so that's a semitone. A double flat to B double flat, that's a tone. B double flat to C flat. Again, you've got to convert these to work them out really. B double flat is an A, C flat is a B, so it's like saying A to B. Sounds a lot simpler. So that's a tone. C flat to D flat, that's like saying B to C sharp, that's a tone. D flat to E double flat, well E double flat's the same as D, so between D flat and D, obviously a semitone. Right. So tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone, that obviously works out great. So let's push on round the circle. We take the 4th note in E double flat and we come to A double flat. Bring that one down, make that our next key. Apply the same process. A double flat's our key. Put the rest of the letter names in. B, C, D, E, F, G, A. Deliberately leaving the flats off there for now. Then we apply our mnemonic. Battle, ends, and down goes Charles' father. Battle, ends, and down. So again, we keep going until we've come to note 4, and we check to make sure we've got the same number of flats there as we have there. So the key of A double flat major has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 flats. Now, some of you, if you've a good memory of what we did in the last lesson, are going to guess what's going to happen next, because as this gets sillier and sillier with more of these double flats coming in, we know that it needs to resolve. So let's just take this final key here, 1, 2, 3, 4, the key of D double flat major, and bring that down. And that would look like this, D double flat, same process, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, battle, ends, and, down, goes, Charles, father, battle, ends, and, down, goes. That's note 4. So we stop there. And you can see we've now got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 flats. At which point, just as we did with the circle of fifths and the sharp key signatures, we re-evaluate each of these notes to see if there are simpler names for them. D double flat sounds the same as C. E double flat sounds the same as D. F flat sounds just like E. G double flat sounds like F. A double flat sounds like G. B double flat sounds like A. C flat sounds like B, and D double flat C. So there we go. Would you bother to have 12 flats in a key signature when you could just as happily have none? Obviously, if you want to write something in the key of D double flat, simpler to write it in the key of C. So once again, we've come full circle. So there we have the complete picture at last. Now, why did I say that you will almost never encounter pieces of music written in keys that involve double sharps or double flats? Well, the answer lies in the circle. If you take any one segment of enharmonic keys, keys that sound the same, there is usually an obvious choice to make. For example, look at the segment at 3 o'clock. Given the choice between working in the key of A major with its 3 sharps or B double flat major with its 9 flats, which are you more likely to choose? Are you going to write in C double sharp minor with 11 sharps? Or choose the key of D minor with 1 flat in the key signature? The result sounds the same, it's just a question of which is simpler to think in and work in. This answers a question which I must say has mystified me right from the very moment I first started to learn music as a child. Why do you have to have 2 different names for the black notes on a piano keyboard? Why sharps and flats? Well, really you have to have worked your way all the way up the music theory pyramid to this level to gain a full appreciation of why we need more than one way to name each of those notes. And I must say that once you arrive at a full understanding of this, it does actually appear to be quite a neat, elegant system at work behind a rather complex frontage, if you like. Now, there may well be a comprehensive system of naming musical notes that is simpler and clearer than this one, but I have to say I've been looking out for that for many, many years, and I haven't yet seen one that really works as elegantly as this one does. Finally, notice that at the bottom of the circle, things are not quite so clear-cut. The choice between whether to write in G flat major or F sharp major, for example, is exactly the choice between 6 of one and half a dozen of the other. 6 sharps in F sharp major or 6 flats in G flat major. Even the keys either side, most musicians have a leaning towards sharp or flat keys. So most guitar players, for example, are more naturally comfortable with sharps than flats. So they would probably opt for C sharp major with 7 sharps rather than the enharmonic key of D flat, which has 5 flats. But a sax player, being more used to flat keys, may prefer A flat minor with 7 flats over G sharp minor with only 5 sharps. So this is the final picture. Let's just summarise. The major keys, shown in red in each segment of the circle, are enharmonic, which means sound the same as each other, as are the minor keys, shown in blue. Each major key is shown next to its relative minor key. Relative keys share the same key signature, shown in black. The outer circle shows the progression of the keys in the circle of fifths, which, apart from the keys of C major or A minor, all have sharps in their key signature. The inner circle shows the progression of the keys in the circle of fourths, which, apart from the keys of C major or A minor, all have flats in their key signature. The lighter the background, the more commonly the key is used. Keys with dark backgrounds are almost never used because of the availability of significantly simpler enharmonic keys from the other circle. Now, if you're watching this lesson as a member of the secretguitarteacher.com website, you can download a printout of this circle from the toolbox to the side of the video screen. It makes a great wall poster. Well, I hope these lessons have helped take the mystery out of the whole subject of key signatures. This is very core material. If you haven't got a good grasp of this circle, you're going to really run into difficulties later along on the road of your music theory studies. So do take your time, go back over the lessons as often as you need to clarify the details. One great way to sort of check whether this information has found a real home for you is to leave it for a few days and then see if you can reproduce this circle. Just sketch it out on a piece of paper with a pencil and then check it against our copy of it on this video. Once you can do that, particularly if you can do it without any kind of looking up or cheating, then I think we can safely say you've got it. And it's time to move on. As a next step, I recommend moving on to the lessons on harmonising the major scale. They really do lead directly on from the work we've been doing with the key signatures and the circles of fourths and fifths. And during work on harmonising, you're going to be using the information we've learnt in these last few lessons time and time again, so that really helps you get some application of all this pure theory. Now, it may well be that you've had enough of studying theory for now. I wouldn't blame anybody for feeling that way after these last 5 lessons or so. If that's the case, then I'm going to suggest heading on over to the orientation section. That means the lessons on the cage system, the sandwich exercises, and the lesson on total fretboard mastery. These are great lessons to actually find these things we've been learning about on the fretboard, and that's all good application as well. Whichever course you choose, I really look forward to seeing you in the next lesson. So bye for now.